I show 6:10, so we will go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Not down here.
Okay.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
ESAC County Schools empower all students to become productive, responsible citizens of an ever-changing global society. We'll take a minute now for public input on non-agenda items. Okay. If not, we will move on to the FFA presentation.
So these guys, along with four others, went to National Convention about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago now, yeah. I hope they had a really fun time. It was my first time taking kids to a national convention. I had gone when I was in high school, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're in charge of kids. So I thought it was pretty fun. They're going to talk about their 3 days there and then their favorite part of the trip and what they brought back with them. This is Rylan, our vice president. Bree is one of our reporters, and then Kaden's one of our treasurers.
Welcome. Go ahead.
During the time of October 28th to November 1st, myself, along with 6 other FFA members and our advisor, Ms. Hopeling, traveled to Indianapolis bright and early and attended the 98th Annual National FFA Convention. Some of the benefits of experiencing National Convention are building teamwork through planning and making a meal or two for our attendees. We socialized with and learned so many new things from people from all over the country. We attended workshops and brought back new information we learned. We got to experience the ways of those living in the city, and we all wondered how they save any money.
During the first day of our attendance, we got to visit the convention center. Here, we learned so many things about college and experiences we could have. On top of that, we got to go to everyone's favorite thing, shopping. We watched the keynote speaker, Eric Jackson, who talked to us about staying true to ourselves and not letting other people bring us down. After all of that excitement, we attended the Ella Langley concert where all of us girls sang for ourselves.
At the second day of convention, we said goodbye to the Lucas Oil Stadium for the day and made our way to Kentucky. Here we toured the Louisville Slugger, where we got to see how some of the most famous bats were made. Then we toured the Risen Tree Creamery and got to learn about the operation of the goat creamery. And the best part, we got to try some of the cheese. We then ended the day with a delicious meal at Texas Roadhouse.
At the final day of the National FFA Convention, we wrapped up with workshops full of information about the Army and leadership. We attended our last session and ended the night with an unforgettable rodeo. My favorite part about National FFA Convention was the rodeo because it was fun to see all of the attractions such as music, the clown, and the horse that does tricks. And what I brought back was the mindset to be myself.
My favorite part of National Convention was meeting fellow FFA members from around the U.S., making friendships and memories that I'll never forget, such as shopping with Jason from New Hampshire or swing dancing with kids from Kentucky. National Convention is always a highlight to my school year. Attending this year's keynote speaker showed me the importance of opening up and being myself, not being afraid to try new things or base my decision based on what other people think.
I was happy to have the experience of going to National Convention. It's a great place to get involved in FFA. I had a lot of fun, but the workshops and the rodeo were the most fun. I feel like National Convention is a place everyone should go to. I gained more agriculture experience while I was at the convention, as well as made many new friends.
Was the rodeo, the participants, were they high school students too, or were they?
They were higher up.
Okay.
How many kids were in attendance from all the schools? Do you know?
We were record-breaking 70,000.
Wow. Wow.
We filled the arena the last day.
And you guys drove?
Yeah. Yeah, it's thankfully nobody killed each other on the way. The way there they slept. The way home, some of them were a little bit more moody than the rest.
Is it always held at the same place, or do they have it all over?
It used to be in Louisville, and then we just got word this year that it will continue to be in Indianapolis for the next 15 years. So we're outgrowing everywhere else, so they can't find anywhere bigger for us to go to.
It's probably a good thing, 'cause, I mean, that's a drivable distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we met some people from Montana, was it, on the way there?
Yep.
They had been driving for 3 days,
Wow.
so, yeah. But they broke it up. I think one of them was a really long day, and then they had a short day, and then they had a really long day to get to Indianapolis. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Is it like, do you just get a pick if you want to go, or how do you get to be involved in it?
The kids apply, so they have to say what they've been involved in, why they want to go. If you've been there before. Is there another question on this? And then we would look at them, if we have more than 7 that apply, then we look at them and select from those to see who gets to go. But usually it's about 7 that apply, and then we don't really have to decide. Well, thanks for having us.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much for sharing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you don't have to stick around.
No.
Highly recommend leaving.
All right, we will move on then to the board secretary report.
So, last month, or a couple weeks ago, I guess, Nate and I went to the 5-year projection course. That was good. It's the second time I'd been there. And I don't know, it just seems like the more times you do it, the more it sticks, right? So, it's good to see that. Other than that, looking at the fund balances, I kind of wanted to point out the activity fund this month. If you look at the change from 23 to 24, we were down, what is that, $70,000 year over year. This year we're down again, but it's only 40,000 roughly. So we're kind of stopping that trend downward. I just did the work on the concession stand to give everybody their money that they earned, and we made about $14,000 on the concession stand this year. So just for the fall sports, right? So taking that over, I think is really helping the activity fund to be able to be a little bit more self-sustaining. So, does anybody have questions for me?
I don't.
Do not. All right. If nothing else, we'll move on. We do not have correspondence, so we'll move to administrative reports.
Sure. So we had 12 conferences beginning of November. Happy to share we had 98% attendance rate. Our teachers worked really hard to reach out to families ahead of time, helping parents schedule a time that worked for them, and actually continue to contact the few families that we haven't yet communicated with, because our goal is to meet that 100%. 100% of our students' parents, so we're very close to achieving that. Both nights went well. Conversations were positive, productive, and focused on student learning goals. Veterans Day celebration, we had a short, brief celebration on Friday the 7th. We invited some local veterans to join us for our High Five Friday, and then after that, they joined us in the gym for a short assembly. And our students had the opportunity to learn the importance of Veterans Day, heard from our guests about the branches in which they served, and then had a chance to thank them with a high five, and some made cards, so it's a nice little way to honor their service. Emergency operations planning, we did have a reunification exercise during our recent professional development day. Our staff took part in a training exercise as part of our ongoing work to strengthen school safety and emergency preparedness. The training focused on ensuring that the staff clearly understand their roles if we were ever needed to relocate students or conduct this type of controlled release. It included an overview of the standard reunification method. They got hands-on practice with the check-in and student release stations. They worked through logistics and communication challenges. And then they also had time to reflect and provide some feedback. We debriefed, and our emergency operations team will use that information to fine tune things as we move forward. So, and overall, they reported that the training increased their confidence and understanding of how the communications work in real situations. So that's just an important step in helping us maintain a safe and well-prepared learning environment and moving forward in that process. And finally, I wanted to share an update on one of our building goals for the 25-26 school year. We had said by spring of 2026, each certified teacher will implement, measure, and monitor at least one evidence-based practice that supports meaningful engagement and voice from parents, students, or community members. So to support this work, we had every teacher create a family engagement plan, and they outline how the teachers communicate learning, share student work, or create opportunities for families to engage with what's happening in the classrooms, and then they will monitor their plans throughout the year and adjust them as needed. So, really good example I thought comes from a preschool team. Just something we try to think of what are things we're already doing, but how can we just tweak it a little bit to get that voice. So they invited parents to help select a shared learning goal that both home and school would work on, and so I had that little sheet in there so parents got to choose. They kind of gave them a list. And parents had a voice in which one they really wanted to focus on. And then they'll continue to monitor the progress and communicate updates as the students work on those goals. So we're already seeing more family interactions. We have positive feedback from that. So those plans will help us strengthen our partnerships. That's the plan there, and ensure that students and parents are heard and have a voice. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Okay, for the high school building, what I wanted to highlight was just some academic things first. So I was looking up just some data, what we had for like honor roll students, how our grades were overall. So I kind of labeled that out there with, we had 212 students through 7th through 12th grade that would have met our honor roll status of being 3.0 or higher. And so I'm just doing the math on that one. That was about 66% of our student body at that level, which I thought was pretty good. The students been working pretty hard that first quarter. We had 41 students across 6 grades that had 1 or more Fs. And that's kind of a big thing for us with one of our building goals, and I didn't include it in here. But it was using our response to intervention time, our advisor time, to try to make sure that we, gave extra work or extra time with those students that might need that help, and hoping that kind of lowers the number of Fs even from what we had in that first quarter. So the biggest thing for us is that we just wanted to have opportunities for growth for everybody, but I felt like that was a really good first quarter with some of those numbers in there. We're almost to midterm on second quarter, and then when I sent that out to the teachers, I was like, all right, it's going really fast, very fast. Our Veterans Day program that we had, I felt like they just did an awesome job putting together. The eighth graders and Miss Ulrich, they had with the quilts of valor, some really good speeches that we had there. I thought it was an excellent recognition of our veterans from the beginning to the end of it. So I was very happy with how that went. One other thing I wanted to highlight was with our XLP program. I feel like Jody does a great job of having something for kids to go to quite frequently. So one of them we had recently was with a few girls from the XLP program went to the STEM conference at the ESC Extended Learning Program went to the STEM conference at Iowa State University hosted by Women in Science. And again, she's had a lot of events that she'll take them to, but I thought that was a really good one for some of those girls, and they had some positive things to say about it when I saw a few of them. Then activities, updates. I didn't include some of this on here, but obviously, we're getting started into winter things, but I wanted to talk about just some things that we still had from the first quarter here going into the second quarter. We had some students that were made the Northwest Iowa, made the honor band recognition that they got, and they're going to be traveling to Morningside on January 10th. I was very proud of them, the 4 that are listed there. I know they worked very hard to get to where they were there, and it's good that they get that recognition. We had our National Honor Society at the beach. I'm trying to think of when that was. Not too long ago here, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And those are the 8 new National Honor Society inductees that we had listed on there. Very proud of them and the ones that we already have in our National Honor Society. But just wanted to make sure to highlight that. And then also our cross country team had a great season. The team overall finished 8th. But the biggest thing, we had a medalist there, and we had a lot of great achievements from the team overall. So, any questions?
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. First thing I have on here is just noting that the voted Pep poll measure passed on the last election. Definitely appreciative of that. It's nice to know our community is supportive of our continuous improvements as we work in the district to keep everything functioning and nice for our kids. School board election, Kyle Lenners will be joining us next month, and we get to re-welcome Jim Wallace. He will continue to be on the board, so re-welcome. That's good. I got a slide here next. We're going to talk about our early resignation incentive, which is a board policy that we'll be looking at tonight. Tyler mentioned the 5-year projection. I do have some numbers that we'll share with the board on that. School board convention is actually this week. So consider that for next year if your schedule's aligned. I know a lot of you have talked about wanting to go, but I know there's life and work. So just keep that in mind for next year. And we have been able to hire a few special education associates, but we are still looking for some. So that is a continuation from last month as well. All right, a little bit about this policy that we're going to be looking at tonight. What this is, it's a early resignation incentive, and some people might wonder, why would you have an incentive to resign early? In the school world, hiring teachers has become very competitive. And the hiring season that used to be in April and May is now taking place in January and February, or even before. So one of the best things that we know is hiring the right teacher has a huge impact on how successful we are as a school district in the classroom. So if we can post our jobs in January, you have the best opportunity to hire those teachers who are either fresh out of college or know they're looking for something different going forward. So what this does is it provides a financial incentive for any certified teacher, so a licensed employee, that if they know they're planning on not coming back next year, know that in December, they just submit a letter of resignation to us in December, and we can post a job come January. There's an incentive that's kind of a stepping program for December or before, January, and then in February. School districts 10, 15, 20 years ago used to offer early retirement because of financial savings. Now with the state minimum salaries, that savings financially is not near advantageous as it used to be. So doing something like this, although it's not an early retirement package, if a teacher is going to retire and they know, they submit a letter to us and they'll get a little check on their last paycheck for that incentive. So if there's questions about this policy, anybody want to ask them now, or are we okay? And then a little bit about the 5-year projection. So like Tyler said, this is his second year doing this, be my third. These projections it's a very nice tool for us when we're looking at how the district's doing financially. Obviously, no one can predict the future on what happens. And you can see off to the left there, there's 3 super important things here when it comes to the financial well-being of a school, and that's enrollment, SSA, and law changes. Well, that changes every year. Okay. And there's some assumptions in this document on what the state SSA will be going forward. This is assuming 2%. I've already heard rumors that could be generous based on some talk already at the lawmakers.
I just can't see.
I'd blow this up if I could. And so depending on what SSA is and depending on what enrollment does, those numbers change. And the projection in the model shows the financial well-being of our district staying pretty consistent for 3 years, and then it shows it coming down a little bit, which was pretty typical of most school districts at this workshop. Some school districts were falling way faster than others, and some school districts were continuing to gain ground. If we look at our enrollment year over year, obviously last year we were down 42 kids. That's a big number for a school of our size. This year, we were down about 15. Okay, and if you look at our certified enrollment, you're going to see that was 688 down to 674. So our certified enrollment was down a little bit more than our actual enrollment count. One of the reasons for that is we increased our number of open enrolled in students, and we decreased our number of open enrolled out students. So that's a very important factor for any school district to have more kids coming in than more kids leaving. And so if we can change that every year in a similar direction, that's obviously a helpful thing. And then resident students in. So we know this year that our preschool class is bigger than it has been, which is awesome. So when those seniors graduate, we got a decent number in kindergarten. What we don't know is how many preschoolers are out there the following year. And if you graduate more than you bring in, your enrollment goes down. So, Tyler, is there anything you'd like to add about this?
We've got our assumptions in there. This model is really easy to tweak those assumptions and see how that affects us. So we can always go back and say, what if the state gives us 1 instead of 2? And how is that going to affect us? So it's pretty nice that you can easily change things and kind of make a worst case and a best case scenario, and, live within those, playing within those different variables there.
This Excel document is huge. I don't know how many sheets are on the bottom. All I know is when I go to this workshop, I'm very thankful to have Tyler there because he helps me through the process and understands Excel very well. So I guess probably just looking at the overall picture, things are well. We've had unfilled positions this year ever since I've started here. So this is year 3 of going on some unfilled positions. Obviously, unfilled positions help our budget because we're not paying out salary in those areas where we could be. But as enrollment declines, we also got to look at, what positions can be attrition to make sure we're serving our kids the best we can, but we're also not creating a financial problem of being overstaffed. So I'd say we're sitting in a really good spot right now overall. Any questions about the financials for this model?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That takes care of my report.
Okay. Don't believe we have any discussion items, so we'll move on to action items. First up is the consent agenda. Any questions on the minutes, the bills, or the policies?
Motion to approve consent. Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the de novo service agreement.
All right, so a little bit about this. Everyone at this table was part of the study that was done last year and has led a few of our discussions about what we're doing now, what we'll be doing in the future. I think the comprehensive study was good for the district, and I think the board appreciated the knowledge and then also what we're going to be doing going forward. So what this is this an annual contract for a 5-year duration at a pretty nominal expense. But what this does is it continues our relationship with DeNovo. So when we are updating things, they go in there and they update where we're currently at with our plan. So they'll keep that plan updated. Also part of this, they will advise us on small projects that don't necessarily require engineers or architects, which is pretty important, I think, for the board and even myself when we have people who do this for a living being able to share their knowledge with us when we're moving forward on whether it's a big project or a small project. So looking for approval on this contract.
How much is it again? Let's see here.
$2,500 a year.
Annually. Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the de novo ongoing service agreement. If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion. Or sorry. Jeez, it's been a long day. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that, Tyler. Kind of threw you for a loop there. All right, elementary parking lot.
All right, so the first step in any large project is to get a survey done of the area where you're choosing to do the work. So in discussions with DeNovo and what this project could look like, what it will look like, they're recommending Larson Engineering to do a survey and look at the parking lot, what's on the surface, what's underneath the surface. This includes a bunch of core samples, and most importantly is going to look at the drainage of the entire area, because we know that is probably our biggest area of concern is how do we mitigate water from that area once we have a decent parking lot. So this cost is $21,500. No matter where this project goes, this information will be good for any contractors or anyone who works on or wants to do work on that area anytime soon. So kind of the first step in seeing what we have to work with as we move forward with that project. That picture kind of shows the area. So they're going to go north of the parking lot, all the way down, backside of the building, and then down by the baseball field. And if you can see that red line that goes south of the baseball field a little bit, that's to deal with the drainage that we have to figure out for that area.
This is valid for how many years?
They said, I don't know what Connor said. They said it's good for some time. It's just it's a snapshot of what we got now, but it'll be available to use for whenever we want to start this project.
I'll make a motion to approve the geotechnical analysis.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the geotechnical analysis. All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the board policy software.
Okay, one of the things that we have done in the last year is we had IASB do a board policy review. And as board members, you know that there's a lot of board policies out there that are all listed on our website. So anybody who wants to check out board policy or read, you certainly can. But what they do is they go through and they identify any board policy that is different from what they recommend, and also make sure that the district has updated board policies based on legal references and all of that. They identified some policies that we need to review. And there's a company out there called Symboli that helps school districts manage their policies, keeps them updated, And when IASB sends out a policy primer, which is basically all the policies, they do that quarterly and what they recommend. It helps us take their policies and merge them into our policies seamlessly, which would end up saving Tyler a lot of time. And
make sure it's done right. So currently, Tyler uses, Google Docs. The district uses Google Docs to do this. And it has been time consuming. And so in talking with other superintendents in other districts, they said that this helps not only keep their policies organized and updated, but takes a huge time burden off of their school business official. And Tyler would definitely be recommending this, and as would I. So.
To me, it seems like a pretty reasonable annual cost for the amount of work that would go into all the policies. So I think it's a good idea as we move forward and seeing some of the ones that needed to be updated. We have a list. So
There's a large list. So at some point here in the next couple months, as this process moves forward, there will be a very large list of policy updates brought to the school board for review and approval. So if you see a couple pages of that, don't be shocked.
other questions or?
I'll make a motion to approve the Sibley Board policy software.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the board policy software. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the Board of Director ballot for the AEA.
Okay. This is something that needs to be approved by the school board. And there's been a lot of changes to the AEAs in their structure and makeup. And this is, we have one person running for this position. And basically the school board is asked to cast a ballot and vote for this person. So that is the ballot over on the right. The thing on the left is there needs to be at least 4 current or active superintendents that are in that AEA to serve on this board as well. And I have the ability to vote for those candidates, but I'm going to share that information with the board. There are only 4 people vying for those. I am not one of them. Because sitting on the AA board right now is, well, could be interesting. We'll just say that. So I was asked, and I chose to spend my time between here and Arweva instead of sitting on that board. So, but looking for approval on that.
Any concerns that you're aware of
No.
approving that? Okay.
No.
So we're approving the ballot or approving the vote for?
The board is gonna approve a vote for Marion Todd Lundgren, whoever that is.
I'll make a motion to approve Marion Todd Lundgren as our vote for candidate.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, more construction stuff. 6.6, there's a condensing unit that is part of our air conditioning in the 1951 hallway. Again, that's the hallway where some of our oldest classrooms are, central office, and where we've started our renovations. In the winter time, that hallway has given us quite the fits with some of these units. And Carroll Control has given us a few options, is in the board packet. To replace the whole system, we were looking at around $85,000. To replace the main unit, that'll work with the system going forward. We were looking at $35,250. So after consulting with Denovo on what direction we should go here, they definitely recommended replacing the unit. part of that thing, if you look at that, it says after January 1, some of these units will no longer be available. So doing this now will allow us to work with the existing system instead of having to replace it all.
Questions on that?
Not really.
I'll make a motion to approve the full replacement.
Of what?
I'll second.
Hold on, 1 second. What did you just motion?
The full replacement.
No, we
No.
don't want that.
That's not the one that you wanted.
No, the next one, we're looking at a full replacement on the system, but this one, we're looking at replacing this unit now will allow us to use the older system. If we don't replace this unit, we're looking at a total new system at 85,000. So this replacing the condensing unit will allow us to use the older system without replacing the whole system at this
That
point.
makes more sense.
Apologize if that was not clear.
All right, so then we'll make the motion to take the cheaper option. $35,250 for the replacement.
Second.
A motion and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Figure out the second of that. All right, so this is where we're looking, and I'm sure you were looking ahead in the agenda there, Jim. So this is where we're looking to replace a system versus an obsolete part. So we currently run a pneumatic air compressor for air dryers. And if you look at Carroll Control's report on this, they described it as barely functional. And if you cross-reference that with our facility assessment from De Novo, they would also agree. So most schools and businesses are replacing the pneumatic controls with direct digital controls. And so if we were to replace our air compressor on this system, just the air compressor would be like $7,300. Okay. But they recommended, and Carroll Controls and De Novo both recommended, do not stick money into this older system to go ahead and replace the controls on this in that portion of the building. So cost on this would be $29,040, and we will no longer have an air compressor and pneumatic controls. We will go to digital.
All right, I'll make a motion, we approve the pneumatic control system upgrade for $29,040.
Who seconded that?
Second.
Okay. Jim got that. All right. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, personnel items.
All right, a couple of resignations, couple of contract offers listed on the screen and in the board packet. Couple of volunteer coaches. This is a good thing to see when people like to volunteer to serve our athletes and also go through the steps of getting endorsed by the state to do so. So, any questions on the resignations or contract offers?
I have one. Have we already had the fall play?
Yes. Yep. So it was this past weekend, and so those resignations are effective for the end of this school year, allowing us to search for anyone who would like to be part of the fall play for next year.
Okay. Any other questions on those? All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make-
You go ahead.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the resignation contracts and the volunteer coaches.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the personnel items. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That leaves us to the next meeting, which is the 15th.
December 15th, third Monday of the month, we will have our regular board meeting first and then our organizational meeting second. Few things. Did you check the SBRC today? All right, so there's going to be some SBRC requests on there that the state gives us an interesting timeline on that. Generally opens, they say mid-November, but then we have to have them approved at the next board meeting. There are a few early graduates asking for early graduation. Heather will be talking about a district delivery service plan at our next board meeting. That'll be a discussion item. That's an annual thing. Those of you who have been on for the board 5 years or longer have done this before. So we'll talk about that. Be about it.
All right, anything else? Potential agenda items for next time? All right, if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.